There are crimes so violent in its nature that it becomes hard to believe that there was no prior provocation or planning. Chandra Levy was reported missing and later declared dead after her remains were found at a park close to her apartment. This is a case that drew a lot of attention, mostly because of her affair with a married U.S. representative. This is the story of Chandra Levy. Welcome to this channel. Today, we're going to take a look at the disappearance and murder of Chandra Levy. Before we continue, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to get notified about our latest true crime videos. Now sit back and come with me as we look into the sad, bone-chilling case of Chandra Levy. Levy was born in Cleveland, Ohio, to Robert and Susan, who later moved to Modesto, California, where she attended high school at Grace M. Davis High School. As at the time of her disappearance, her parents were members of Beth Shalom congregation, which was a conservative Jewish synagogue. She then went on to attend the San Francisco State University, where she earned a degree in journalism. She began an internship at the California Bureau of Secondary Education and worked at the office of the Los Angeles Mayor, Richard Riordan. She then decided to pursue a master's degree in public administration at the University of Southern California. Chandra moved to Washington, D.C. to become a paid intern at Federal Bureau of Prisons as part of her final semester of study, and in October 2000, she had begun her internship program at the Bureau's headquarters, where she was assigned to the Public Affairs Division. There she got the attention of her supervisor, who claimed to have been impressed with her work. Her internship soon came to a sudden end, however, in April 2001, when it was discovered that her academic eligibility had expired a year earlier. She had already completed the requirements for her master's degree and intended to go back to California for her graduation. Chandra Levy was last seen on the 1st of May 2001. The Metropolitan Police Department was first alerted by Levy's parents, who had called from Modesto to report that they had not heard from their daughter for 5 days. On the day they got the report from her parents, the police reached out to some hospitals and then decided to visit her apartment, which was located at DuPont Circle. But they found no evidence of foul play. On 7th of May, which was a day after the case was reported, Levy's father had reported to the police that his daughter was having an affair with a United States Congressman. Robert later stated that he believed the Congressman to be United States Representative Gary Condit. One of Levy's aunt also reported to the police, claiming that Chandra had confided in her about the affair. By the 10th of May 2001, the police had obtained a warrant to conduct a formal search of Chandra's apartment, and investigators found her credit cards and identification, which she had left in her purse alongside a partially parked suitcase. Her answering machine was discovered to be full with messages from her relatives, and 2 of those messages were from her claimed to be lover Congressman Condit. An attempt by a police surgeon to examine Levy's computer yielded no progress, and he ended up corrupting the internet search data. It took the computer experts a month, but they would eventually be able to reconstruct the data to determine that the computer was used on the morning of the day she had disappeared. Her website-related searches claimed to have included contents such as Amtrak, Baskin-Robbins, Condit, Southwest Airlines, and weather report from the Washington Post. Her last search was around 12:59 p.m. She was searching for Alsace-Lorraine, which was located in France. A particular search which got the attention of the police was a search for information about Rock Creek Park in the Washington Post and linked to the map of the park. These searches instigated some theories from the detectives that she had met someone at Pierce Kimball Mansion, which houses the park headquarters. On the 25th of July 2001, a search team which included 3 D.C. police sergeants and 28 police cadets searched the park. But there was no evidence of Chandra. A second attempt at the search was made, but there was still nothing. Levy's parents had held several vigils and press conferences with the hopes of getting their daughter back, but still nothing positive happened. Meanwhile, controversies surrounding the disappearance of Chandra Levy had drawn the attention of the American news media to United States Representative Gary Condit. Condit, who was married at that time, represented the congressional district in which Chandra's family was residing. Although the police had stated that Condit was not a suspect, he had initially denied having an affair with Chandra. Chandra's family had insisted that they had a feeling that Condit was being evasive and possibly hiding information on Chandra's disappearance. Unidentified police sources claimed that Condit had admitted to having an affair with Chandra during an interview with law enforcement officers on the 7th of July 2001. Condit had described Chandra as a vegetarian who neither smoked nor drank. Carrie Condit said he thought that Chandra was going to return back to D.C. after her graduation, but was surprised when he discovered that the lease on her apartment had expired. Investigators searched Condit's residence on the 10th of July 2001. When flight attendant Annie Marie Smith, who was also said to have been in an affair with Condit, was questioned by the police, she claimed that the U.S. representative had told her not to speak about his private life to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This led the federal officials to start investigating Smith for possible obstruction of justice. Condit was later subpoenaed on the 1st of April 2002 to appear before a District of Columbia jury investigating the disappearance. On the 22nd of May 2002, around 9:30 a.m., skeletal remains, which were later matched with the dental records of Levy, were discovered by a man who was walking with his dog searching for turtles in Rock Creek Park near Broad Branch Creek. Detectives also found bones and personal items scattered but not buried along a steep incline. A sport bra, a sweatshirt, leggings, and tennis shoes were among the items that were found. It was no surprise that the evidence were found there, as even though about half of the 1,754 acres of the main park were searched, the wooded area was never searched. The remains were found only at 4 miles from Levy's apartment. After an autopsy was done, the police then decided that the evidence they had gathered was enough to open up a homicide investigation. Levy's case was officially declared a homicide on the 28th of May by Jonathan L. Arden, who was a D.C. examiner at that time. Considering Levy's remains that were found, Jonathan said, "There is less to work with than I would like. It is possible we would never specifically how she died." Jonathan had found some damage to Chandra's hyoid bone which suggested that she had possibly been strangled, but it wasn't deemed a conclusive evidence for the cause of death. On the 6th of June, a private investigator, who was hired by Levy's family, found her shin bone with some twisted wire about 25 yards from the other remains. On the 1st of September 2001, D.C. police and federal prosecutors got in contact with the lawyer of an informant who was in the D.C. jail at that time, who said his client had claimed to have knowledge of Levy's killer. The informant, whose identity was kept private for his safety, claimed that Gondik, a 20-year-old immigrant from El Salvador, told him that Condit had paid him $25,000 to have Chandra killed. The Condit story was ruled out because Gondik had admitted to harassing 2 other women at the same park where Levy's remains were found. It was gathered that Gondik failed to show up to work on the day of Levy's disappearance. His landlady also recalled that his face seemed bruised and scratched around that time. The police made it clear, however, that Gondik was not a suspect, but just a person on interest. Gondik denied attacking Levy. When a polygraph test was taken on November 28, the informant failed and Gondik's polygraph was inconclusive. Levy's murder remained a cold case murder until 2006, when a new D.C. chief emerged. Kathy L. Lanier, who was the new D.C. chief, then decided to replace the lead detectives on the case with 3 veteran investigators who had more experience with homicide cases. This led to the search of Gondik's jail cell, where he was serving a 10-year jail term for harassing the 2 women at the park. The search resulted in the discovery of a photo of Levy, which Gondik has saved from a magazine. The police then interviewed other witnesses of the Rock Creek Park incident. On the 3rd of March 2009, arrest warrant for Gondik was issued by the Superior Court of the District of Columbia. He was returned to the custody of the D.C. Correction Department on April 20th and was charged 2 days later for Levy's murder. He was indicted by the jury on 6 counts of kidnapping, first-degree murder during a kidnapping, attempted first-degree sexual abuse, first-degree murder during a sexual abuse, attempted robbery, and first-degree murder during a robbery. On the 18th of October 2011, jury selection began in the Superior Court District of Columbia, and the trial commenced. The trial went on and evidences and several witnesses appeared before the court, and the jury, including Hal Schilling and Christy Wiegand, who testified about being attacked by Condit. On November 2010, the jury found Condit guilty for both first-degree murders. Condit, however, continued to maintain his innocence throughout the trial. An appeal was filed again in 2011. In May 2015, prosecution dropped their opposition for a ritual after one of the informants was accused of falsifying his confession and committing perjury in court. A lot of deliberations were made, and the prosecutors eventually decided that they did not want to pursue the conviction of Condit, but rather his deportation. Thank you for listening to the story of the disappearance and murder of Chandra Levy. What do you think about the case? Do you think it was handled properly? Let us know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with our latest videos.